Probably does matter to people looking at us as a party and wondering what our position is on this. Now, I understand that we're going into a period of debate, but I saw John McDonnell, the new Shadow Chancellor, there saying, you better get used to this, but we're all going to be completely honest. So let me be completely honest. I think it's terrible when we have the man who wants to be Prime Minister is the leader of our party, which, by the way, has reaffirmed this week its position as a multilateral party that is pro-renewal of the submarines that will hold the deterrent. Have him say that if he were Prime Minister, he would effectively completely nullify the deterrent effect. Now, we have nuclear weapons for the very purpose, and this has been the cornerstone of the UK's policy for, 60, nearly 70 years now, that they are there to deter others from striking us. They are there to make the grotesque horror of a nuclear war less likely. And with one comment, he has undone that, despite the wishes of I think the majority of his shadow cabinet, but also expressed party policy. But
he says, as you say, it's an unimaginable horror using nuclear weapons. He's a man of principle. How does it weaken our position if he says, I'm not prepared to use them?
The whole point of the deterrent is not for the UK to make clear under exactly what circumstances it might, but there has to be potentially the prospect that at some point they could, in theory, be used. Because unless you are prepared to say that, then they cannot have that deterrent effect where another country which has nuclear weapons is deterred from striking because they know that they will be hit back. I mean, that is the whole point. And it has. Look, it has been fragile at certain points over previous decades, but that policy has maintained a peace while we all work. And this is really important. I'm proud that the Labour government was the first to make the UK a nuclear-armed state that expressly went for a policy of global zero, the total elimination of nuclear weapons. But it is how we move towards that.
What would you do if Jeremy Corbyn, what would you do as a Labour MP and a candidate if Jeremy Corbyn persuades the party his way that there's no need for nuclear weapons?
Well, I'm really clear that I was elected on a mandate by my constituents being expressly pro the renewal of the submarine system that carries the Trident weapons. They have voted for me on that basis, and I think people in Barrow-in-Furness, and probably in several other parts of the country, would just not be able to understand that they elected their Member of Parliament on a particular basis, and then suddenly he or she was saying exactly the opposite. So I'm clear what my view will be.
Irrespective of what's in the manifesto or anything, you will say Britain should maintain the
Well, I think the timetable on this is really important, because really no matter what Jeremy Corbyn or anyone else says, there is going to be a vote on renewal of the submarine system within the next year. It's scheduled for next year, 2016. It might be a year after that. But there's going to be a parliamentary vote which will take that renewal project, past the point of no return. And there is a cast-iron majority for renewal, partly because of the Conservative MPs who will vote for it. That would actually be enough to take it through, but there will also be some Labour MPs who will vote for it come what may. So it's going to happen, whatever Jeremy or anyone else says.
If the leader makes clear what his position is in advance, do you think this is new politics, honest debate?
Well, this is certainly a new situation. I think most people, if they've paid attention of the Labour Party conference at all, will think that this has seemed a little bit chaotic. It's seemed a little bit looking inward on itself and talking in a language of conference arrangements committees and other things that really don't mean a great deal to people's lives. I think Jeremy is absolutely right to call for a new style of politics. But I think the test for most people is going to be whether we look outwards and reach outwards into communities rather than turn in on ourselves.
OK, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much.
Adam.